Welcome to today's restorative. It's pure restore today. So we're going to begin in constructive rest. A blanket underneath your sacrum, your hips, feels really good. And if you wish, you can either place a cushion or make a neck roll that's perfect for your neck so that your neck is also supported. And the cervical spine being supported means that the sympathetic nervous system will start to relax. Arms are out to the side, about a foot away from the torso. Make sure that you're not knocking your knees in or swaying them out. If that is your tendency, either place a sandbag on top of your feet or use a strap over the thighs like this. So I know that I'm being a little bit pedantic about getting into constructive rest, but it is one of the most treasured somatic shapes because it brings the nervous system into complete balance. And this is what's so beautiful about constructive rest when you take time to set it up. And once here, if you do have an eye cushion, place an eye cushion over your eyes. And then begin to soften your belly. And we're going to go through a breathing exercise first that will help us to transition out of the busyness of the day and completely onto the mat and into our bodies. Because while we're working, we're very often in the mind in 100 different ways. Let's drop into the breath. Sometimes we want to untie the breath. And in doing this, you tend to pull and tug on yourself and unwittingly increase tension in the breathing. So just be patient with yourself as you begin this. And feel, first of all, how your breath is rising and falling. Feel how it's ebbing and flowing. In other words, just notice your breath. It might not be full body breathing yet, and that's okay. Just noticing if it's fast or ragged. Full body breathing is an extraordinary symphony of both powerful and subtle increments that massage over the internal organs, oscillate the joints, and tone and release all the muscles in the body. So it's full participation with life when we go into our full body breathing. But to get there, we just need to listen to the breathing. Resting your attention, particularly on the exhalation. Letting your awareness travel down the length of an exhalation. And begin to really enjoy the sensation of the breath effortlessly leaving the body. And just asking yourself what it is that you find at the end of the exhale breath. Because it's in the pause at the end of the breath that we find true stillness, which is magic. It is the key. Constructive rest allows you to relax deeply, so relax and feel the pause between breaths. Can you trust the inhale to arise without grabbing for it? You listen to your nervous system and the condition of your nervous system through your breath. Remember, breathing patterns are an accumulation of a lifetime's experience in the nervous system. Begin to soften your mouth and imagine that you have a very light plastic straw between your lips. When you've done this breath with me often before. Breathing in through your nose. Begin to exhale through your imaginary straw. Lips are soft and relaxed. On the inhale breath, you might choose to lightly touch your tongue to the roof of your mouth. And then relax the tongue and exhale out of softly parted lips. The exhale will become longer and longer. So breathing out of a very long, light straw. You'll begin to feel the inhalation arising spontaneously. It'll feel like a gentle bounce of the diaphragm eventually. Move into deep trust. Trust the incoming breath. Don't jump in prematurely by initiating the inhalation with upper chest and shoulders. Keep your body so relaxed. Let the diaphragm receive and work harmoniously. We're going to continue with this straw breath, another minute and a half. Breath helps us to relieve agitation. If you're not sleeping well at night, do 3 minutes of this breathing before you intend to sleep. While you're in bed, winding down, lights off in the darkness. You can complete the exhale as it arises. Let it go. And then begin to breathe in and out of the nose. Notice how your breath has slowed down and the diaphragm is now relaxed. And perhaps you've moved into full body participation of the breath. Just remain here for another minute in this shape, observing. Constructive rest is available to you any time of the day to bring energy into the body. If you feel depleted, it's better than a cup of coffee. The deeper we breathe, the better sleep we have at night. Wonderful. Please gently roll onto your side and take at least 4 or 5 breaths lying on your side. When you're ready to come up, press a hand into the ground and gently rise. Our next shape, you want to throw your leg over a chair, couch, bed, anything that you have close by. And the bolster or cushion is going to be behind you. So placing your shins over a couch or anything else that you have available, if you are able to, bring a sandbag over your shins. It helps to deepen the relaxation of the hips, and then your chest is going to come over your bolster or cushion, and you can, if you wish, place something underneath the head as well. If you need more under the head, just bring another cushion, but you do want that chest wide and open. With the legs elevated, we're now going to help the body to drop into deeper levels of relaxation. Arms can be out. If you're finding that it's too intense through the heart and too much is arising for you, just place your hands over the heart center or the chest, and this will lessen the intensity of the shape. You don't want it to be so intense that you can't breathe smooth. You do want to be feeling that your breath is moving easily through your body. Our restorative practice is such a gift to us because we move into deeper breathing patterns, and the breath itself is our detoxifier. Particularly in times like now, where we have unprecedented levels of toxic overload. The governments are not correctly regulating the use of GMOs or water fluoridization, herbicides, pesticides, all of those things, the nanotech, the chemical cleaning products, the prions and faulty proteins. And so it's our responsibility to release all of this with our mindful practices. Because all of that changes the electromagnetic frequency and chemistry of our human body. Changes how the brain works, our immunity. And so breathing well works directly on the central nervous system. This is the spinal cord that acts as the control panel to our body. Every operation of the function of this internal biocomputer, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual functions, initiated on some level and managed by the neurological system. And so here, with the chest wide and open over the cushion, we're now beginning to really explore deeper, fuller breaths. If you find that the breath begins to flutter and you're struggling with it, go back to breathing out of the mouth a few times, in through the nose, out of the mouth, and then come back into breathing in and out of the nose. And just see if you are finding deep breath now, without forcing it, without trying, just by exploring how the diaphragm is able to relax with these shapes. We're going to stay here for another 5 minutes in the stillness, in the quiet. No need for me to say anything more. You're simply going to be with yourself and your breath. Notice if you're still holding tension in the pelvis or along the spine. Let it go. Any tension in the body, you bring the breath to that area. Bathe the area in the breath and let go on deep levels. Legs raised, you may feel the pulse of your blood and fluids moving rhythmically through the body. Becoming aware of all these different levels of your being. Taking your last 4 or 5 breaths here. Keep drawing your knees towards your chest and softly rolling onto the other side. In unhurried, no sudden movements. Very gently come on up. Keep the bolster crossways as it is. You might want to move down the amount of it. Only pull chair away. And come to sitting on your left hip. Take your side body over your bolster. Then lengthen your bottom arm alongside the bolster. Sideline pose. Taking a blanket, small cushion, whatever feels good to place underneath the neck. So that the head drapes slightly. We do want fluid flow to move through the brain to the crown. So instead of being high up, you want the head to drape slightly so that the cerebrospinal fluids flow around the pulse of the brain and around the pineal and pituitary gland. Then extending the right arm overhead, unless that feels too intense, in which case just gently bring your right arm onto your side body and relaxes over the front body. You're choosing. Again, the whole series is about finding space for the diaphragm so that we can truly explore our deepest breathing patterns. Because to reach any level of health at all, it is mandatory that we correct and upgrade the nervous system and spinal cord to be able to function at higher levels and to be able to receive communication throughout the body complex. And sometimes it's chiropractic work to correct spinal issues. Sometimes it's yoga. Everybody is different with their needs. But either way, by correcting the breathing and working on the spinal cord, we can move into more balance for the central nervous system. Intense exercise is not necessarily the best way to correct central nervous system dysfunctions. It can be for someone part of the puzzle, but in our high-speed lives, not always. Learning how to relax is often the most important key to managing the nervous system. Because our nervous system is being hijacked and manipulated through technologies and toxicities. Breathe into the spaciousness being offered in the right lobes of the lungs. The thousands of alveoli sacs are receiving the breath completely, and the right lung particularly is taking deeper breaths now. And even though we don't know it, we are often left or right side dominant in our breathing as well. It takes slowing down and really listening in to feel the subtle differences between how the lungs are receiving the breath. Staying in these shapes longer, we give more opportunity for integration and changes to happen on the deepest levels. We are here for another 5 minutes, 7 minutes and more on each side. We will be. If for the last 2 minutes you wish to intensify the stretch, simply move your right arm back so that your arm sways slightly behind the head, opening the side body a little stronger. If it's been too intense for you and you're starting to get numb fingers or sore shoulder, then relax your arm down, either hand to the front body or gently release the arm behind you to drape behind the spine. You do want to feel comfortable, even if you are working into a little bit more intensity. Gently, if your arm is still overhead, relax your arm on your side body, letting the palm drape in front of you. Take a few deep breaths here. When you feel ready, you gently turn over onto your right side so that we can find space through the left side body. Take your time. Take your time with the setup. Remember to stay warm, blanket over you if it is cooler, and also placing that blanket underneath the neck is really important to work cushion. Again, just a reminder, you want the head to drape slightly. We are working with the limbic system in these shapes. All part of how the central nervous system communicates through the body. When you've found your new shape on the other side, you might choose to extend your left arm overhead and find space through the left ribs. All the attachment points of the diaphragm on the left side. I'm now going to stretch the fascia as well. And the left lobe of the lung, taking in more breath now with compression to the right lung. It can feel very comforting after opening the right side to feel that slight compression into the right lung now. And then the opening of the left, becoming really aware of the pathways of the breath through the two hemispheres of the lungs. Speaking into the limbic system and the amygdala, because of all the blue ray and our digital overload, they can be compromised and affected. And sometimes the circuits can be changed or slightly damaged in the limbic system. And then we experience excessive fearfulness. The amygdala is our emotional center, and it can feel overwhelmed, which takes us into cycles of insomnia or just difficulty in managing the nervous system. The amygdala and the hippocampus are in the limbic system, and they provide the foundation for emotional states that connects us to higher sensory perception. Where we can connect to our inner voice, our higher self, our positivity, our spiritual inner life. Mystical human experiences in our meditative states come through the limbic system. And so right now you are resetting the rhythm and rate of your breathing, which will also help to regulate the limbic. Again, for the last couple of minutes, you might choose to open up the body a little stronger by taking your left arm back slightly to create more space. However, if there is any numbness, again, I would say just relax your arm either behind your spine or on top of your side body with your palm draped in front of you. If your left arm is overhead, you can gently bring it down. Before moving, just setting the intention, movement. And then softly awakening the body towards movement. But you're taking it so slowly, gently coming up towards seated. Working intentionally front body touching the surface of your bolster. So take your cushion so that you can lie along the cushion. If you have a bolster, lengthways of the bolster is up the mat. Again, coming to your left hip, coming onto the left side first, placing palms either side of your bolster. I love to have a blanket to place my head on or a small scatter cushion. And this just gives me relief in the neck. Belly down, revolved twist, bringing the belly and chest onto your cushion and gently slide your small scatter cushion underneath your head so that your neck feels long and well supported. I find that if I place my head down on the bolster, I don't get the length and support through the neck that I need. So definitely placing something underneath my head is a great help. However, everybody is different. So as always, I advise that you experiment to find your own way. Take your time, cover yourself if you need to. The magic of our restorative practice comes through being impeccably supported by our props and our shapes. In this way, we can truly bring our focus inwards and move away from feelings of discomfort because we are in a place of perfect support and comfort. Right now, through this practice, you have been resetting the rhythm and rate of your breathing. And as you change the way you breathe, the carbon dioxide content in your blood changes. And so do your neurological responses. They shift. And then your endocrine levels, that is through the glandular body, pineal, pituitary, into the hippocampus, the amygdala, thyroid, all of it, right through the endocrine. All the levels undergo a radical alteration. The respiratory centers in the lower brainstem respond to these changes by resetting themselves. That is how powerful resetting the breath is. Base of the skull, coming down the top of the neck, we have the pons and the medulla oblongata. It comes into the brainstem. It's extremely sensitive to the changes of carbon dioxide levels in the blood. And it's known as a chemosensitive area. In your practice today, you have brought balance through such a deep attunement and awareness of your breath. These shapes have been specific to assist the pathways of the breath, to relax the diaphragm enough to regulate your breathing differently, to change the CO2 levels in your blood. Well, unfortunately, we're actually towards the end of the class. I'm so glad that you have joined us here, and I will send you the recording afterwards. We're in deep restorative in a belly down twist. So we're here. Like I mentioned, the medulla oblongata, the pons, are chemosensitive. They regulate chemicals through the body. And so this control center is part of your nervous system that regulates basic rhythm of breathing. So when the breath is shallow, it changes the chemoreceptors. When the breath is deep and full, it changes the carbon dioxide levels in the body. So there's the corticoid body of the neck, beautiful area of your bodily system. That's why simple adjustment to the neck, the cervical spine, make a huge difference in how you breathe and how much oxygen uptake moves into the brain. Deeply nourishing front body twist is now going to move on to the other side. You can just gently place your palms onto the ground, lift the chest, swing the knees over to the other side, and take your belly down, revolved twist on the other side. This time you'll be facing the other direction as well. Make sure that your head is well supported by a cushion on top of your bolster. 5 minutes here too. By reprogramming your breath through this practice today, you've slowed your body down. You've corrected imbalances in the central nervous system. Really notice how that has affected you on a deep emotional, mental, and spiritual level. The true power of this is to take us totally out of our mental programs and fully into the presence of the breath, the now presence. This is where we heal, by coming into the now, the perfection of our now moment. Right now, you are perfect. Right now, in your practice, there is nothing else that matters except connecting to your own perfection. The breath is helping you to release and let go. It is reprogramming your nervous system. Outside of the mind, you are deeply in presence. breath has taken you into the still point of your wholeness. Now, for the last 5 minutes of our practice, simply rise gently and onto your back. Lay your spine down to your bolster. Put your cushion or blanket underneath your head. Soles of the feet together, knees open unless that is uncomfortable, in which case just lengthen your legs out in front of you. And you're in a supported shavasana with information right through the central nervous system of the spine on your bolster. And here, in our place of deep still point, in this place of trust, as we have brought the nervous system down into beautiful regulation through breath and the shapes that we have used, we open all channels of light. We clear all light fibers to be fully connected and resonant with the living light code, with Source. Connect to our sovereignty, our own sovereign knowing, our one self, God's self. Here we can work for the highest capacity of our own potential, infinite light, love, and power, divine right order and harmony. Connected to universal harmonics, oscillating wave formats of life that move through us. Here we visualize the gallbladder meridian filled up with rainbow rays of aurora pattern, releasing any gunkiness from our system, any debris, releasing it all from our temple, all the way down the lateral side of the left side of the body, and out of the small toe, seeing waves moving through the body, waves of light, clearing the left side, the female aspect body. Use that breath that you've self-regulated to breathe deeper again through the right side. Visualize the gallbladder meridian filled up with rainbow rays of aurora pattern. Releasing all astral or gunky debris from your temple to release all the way down the lateral right side of your body, masculine. See the waves of light moving down the male aspect body. And now gently see light moving through the center, the Sushumna or Hara line. Visualize a direct, perfect, vertical center line in your body. Use the light to correct any misalignments in the vertical column. Feel your axis perfectly calibrated to the main chakra cones. Feel into a diamond grid of attunement. And here you're aligning into your core soul being. And lastly, your entire body. Universal harmonics in all three sections of your vertical body. In one large wave pattern. See yourself spin and align, merging all the physical centers and layers to be perfectly synthesized into your highest spiritual bodies with harmony and perfection. We are whole. And we are love. Namaste, my friend.